Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm in this car, which is a Renault Clio RS 200, and what I want to do is find out what it's like to drive, how good it is, sort of look behind the myths of the flapper paddle gearbox, see how good it really is, and also compare it to the Abarth, because I used to own an Abarth and these cars on paper seem very similar, so I want to find out how do they compare. So first of all, what is it like to drive? Well, you got a 1.6 litre turbocharged 4-cylinder engine producing 197 horsepower and I think it's about 150 foot-pounds of torque, isn't that what it is? Yeah. And about 150 foot-pounds of torque. It's a turbocharged unit and it's definitely you can feel it's turbocharged, but it has a lovely noise on it and it sounds, towards the rev limit, it sounds very naturally aspirated and you don't get loads of whooshes and sort of, I personally don't like turbo noises and all the whooshing and all that sort of stuff. I've never been a fan of it, and I quite like the fact that it isn't in this car. It does sound very racy, and the noise it makes, I'll put in some clips later of the actual noise from the outside, but I'll demonstrate what it sounds like. But it sounds almost like a little touring car. It has a feel to it that's very racy, and this is not a comparable car to the BMW, but compared to that, this car I'd say feels a lot more sort of track ready. This is a sort of car you'd have around the track and you'd have a lot of fun. So in terms of the way the car handles, it handles really, really well, as you'd expect from any hot Renault really. It's got a lovely front end, turns in really well. You do get a bit of torque steer, so that's basically where the front wheels are overloaded with power, and what will happen is I'll try and demonstrate. We slow down, and now I'll put my foot down. And the wheel turns, going to the wrong side of the road. It's fine. That's part of driving a power front-wheel drive car. It's not a problem. So, you know, that's not really a bugbear of mine. But no, in terms of handling, it's really good. I haven't actually, I haven't got any understeer in it, as you wouldn't on the road, because you'd have to be going silly speed to get that. But it turns in really nicely. It's got a it's very quick steering, which is quite nice when you're going quickly, which it makes it feel quite go-kart like, which I really enjoy. I have pushed it pretty hard and I've got no understeer, but on a racetrack it can be made to slide and get the back out. But again, to do it on the public road, you'd have to be so stupid. So I haven't done any of that. So in terms of the sound of the engine, we'll just slow down, get a load of this, so you can hear it. It's proper. It sounds proper motorsport. It's got a proper nice growl to it. This car is not slow, even with 3 people on board like I have now. I've got Chris, I've got Chris's girlfriend, and a full tank of fuel on board, and it is not slow at all. Only thing that is slightly annoying, which also annoys Chris, is these in race mode, when you miss the shift or you're over revving the car, it will beep, and sometimes that can be irritating. I personally don't mind it, but I suppose if you were to live with this car every day like Chris has to do, he does say it is quite irritating. So I'm sure there's a way of turning that off, but you know, not really looked into that. But in terms of acceleration, this car is fast. It's sub 7 seconds to 60. It's about 6.5 seconds, so it's not slow. In terms of the Abarth, I've had an Abarth, and the problem is you can only get them in a manual, which is a bit tiresome. And if I'm honest, comparing them to, I would probably take this, just because again the Abarth, it's got no real outstanding features to it. It's got a nice engine, but handling's not very good. It's too small. It's too the ride's too firm, whereas this is more sorted. This is more rounded. A lot of road testers said that the automatic gearbox was the part of this car. Oh shit! Sorry. Bloody hell! I don't know these roads. I'll slow down. The road tester said that the automatic gearbox on this car was the part that let it down compared to the manual. Because with the manual, obviously, you're more involved. Personally, and I'll do another video on this, I don't agree with that. I think manuals, they're good for about 10% of the time, but the rest of the time they're just a faff, and actually having an automatic gearbox is a lot more efficient, it's quicker, and I think you're just as involved, especially when you've got paddles like this. So in terms of practicality then, you probably all know about how practical a Renault Clio is. I don't really need to go into it too much, but basically in the front you've got space for 2 adults, and there's plenty of room in there. Great driving position as well, and the seats are really comfortable in this car. In the back, if Chris has children or wants to bring his girlfriend along, you've got space for 3 adults in there, and it's really comfortable. There's a lot of legroom as well, so don't need to worry about that. But then as we were driving along, Chris's girlfriend really annoyed us, so we had to put her in the boot. But it's okay because there's a lot of space in there for her. So it's got a lot of practicality and a lot of performance all wrapped in one package, so how can you complain? So I want to demonstrate a really good feature on this car called launch control. It's actually something my car doesn't even have, and it's usually reserved for your super high-end stuff, but this guy has it. So what you've got to do is you've got to pull both paddles and then hold them, and it says launch control on, then you mash your foot on the brake, and you get this, and then you press the throttle and you get this sort of noise, and then all you have to do is take your foot off the brake. It's a bit slippery today, but normally it would go a lot quicker than that. So to conclude then, what do I think of this car? Well, I think it's great, and I actually think that it's better than the Abarth that I wanted to compare it to. I think it's a really good car. If you're looking for something, a small hot hatch that's not too powerful, it's not too expensive, too short to run, this is a great car, I think, and it's built by one of the best people in the business, which is Renault, who do really good, small, fast hot hatches anyway. Overall, great car, and I would really recommend one.